this kind of mocking way. It's insanely awesome. The male lead is clearly just a commoner, but now he's going to war with 4 princes, a lifetime of technology and cunning. It's just too exciting. Early this morning, the prince called for Angelica because Mary's books were maliciously burned, and after an investigation, the prince found that it was Angelica's command, even though she had no knowledge of it. However, the prince didn't believe her and warned her to stay away from Mary. Since then, the prince has become more protective of Mary, hearing that she's often mistreated. So, he and his subordinates decided to pool money to buy a half-human slave to protect her. Soon, this news reached Angelica's ears, and as a noble lady, she had never experienced such treatment. She couldn't understand why her beloved man would be infatuated with that woman. In the evening, while Leo was sound asleep, his sister suddenly visited and warned him not to get involved with the duke's daughter or the prince, as it would lead to darkness. But Leo didn't pay much attention. At school, Leo and his friends heard a rumor that a commoner found a lover at a party before. The 3 decided to give it a try but were ridiculed and even beaten by the noble ladies, who not only mocked them for being far from the prince's status but also advised them to come back after improving themselves. Just as the girls left, Olivia hurriedly informed Leo that things weren't looking good. Angelica and the prince were arguing on stage. It started because Angelica saw Mary holding hands with someone other than the prince, which she considered unfaithful. However, it turned out that Mary wasn't just involved with the prince but with 5 different men. The prince's subordinates defended him and claimed to love him too. Surprisingly, the prince already knew about this but still declared that he loved Mary the most. This melodramatic situation of 5 men fighting for 1 woman left the girls furious, especially Angelica, who wanted to know if the prince truly loved Mary. After hearing his affirmative answer, Angelica couldn't take it anymore. She threw her glove at Mary, which in this game world meant challenging her to a duel. Dueling meant each side would send a representative to fight instead of the main characters. The prince chose Mary to represent him, but several of his subordinates and even the half-human slave volunteered to join. Angelica was left without anyone willing to represent her because everyone was afraid of the prince. According to the game's rules, Angelica was destined to lose and face a bleak future, eventually being sold to a rural farmer. Seeing Angelica in tears, Leo, who had wanted to remain inconspicuous in this world, inexplicably volunteered to represent her because he wanted to be the prince. After Leo became Angelica's representative, they negotiated the terms. Angelica wanted Mary to stay away from the prince in the future, and Mary wanted Angelica not to bully her, stating that using her family's influence to oppress others was wrong. Once the terms were agreed upon, they decided to settle the score in the arena with mecha combat the next day. Before the match began, the prince's supporters taunted Leo, but they didn't know what was coming. Leo's brash actions soon led to retaliation from the prince's followers, even including his 2 friends. Additionally, rumors spread at school that Leo was the prince's spy, but Leo didn't care. He even bet 500 gold coins on himself. In the arena, 5 mechas lined up, each with flashy colors. When Leo entered, he faced a barrage of insults. However, when he responded in his unique style, he realized that his friends had bet against him. Angelica was anxious as Leo's mecha was nowhere to be seen, and then a dark and ominous fog descended from the sky. The next moment, when everyone saw Leo's mecha, they burst into laughter because it was incredibly ugly. Little did they know, a nightmare was about to begin.